What's going on, sleepy face? Hey, I'm talking to myself. Anyway, Pastor Jamal here, um, Rising Ground Church. Just want to hop in here, keeping on the discussion and the topic of faith. Um, I was thinking about, or I should say, I was reminded. I remember years ago, my wife and I were talking to our pastor about. I don't know if it was specifically faith or if it was finances and faith, but I remember I said I had a distinct knowing about myself, and I knew that I felt like there were things that I had to do in order to be worthy of more money. So, meaning, we get all of these ideas driven into us by society. So I never felt like that. I was that kind of person. Like I couldn't consciously see, or I wasn't aware that I was impregnated by society with that ideology per se about having to work hard to get something. That was not conscious to me, but nonetheless, I knew at that moment that in order for me to feel worthy for the blessing or for God to do something or to have something, there was something that I had to do. And so I was kind of reminded of that today or this morning. And so I wanted to hop on here to remind myself and to remind you that faith, man, works only when you need it. I heard a man, he was telling a story of a lady who was coming into a prayer line. And she came week after week for prayer, and so she received healing for her ears. But the lady also walked with a cane, and she never came up for healing or prayer for her hip, because I guess her hip had broke, and so she had walked with a cane, but she never came to prayer for that. She came for healing. So the minister said to her one day, and this might have been a year later, she came up for prayer or something. He was like, what, don't you want something else? And she's like, no. He said, well, what about that cane? And she says, oh, I can do fine with my hip. It's my ears that I need. So hearing that, I realized that that's the majority of our problem. There are things that we want to hold on to because we can manage it. And that's the problem with having any experience of God not moving. I'm saying that weird. But when you can manage your situation, then there's no room for faith. There's no room for God to come in and work on your behalf. You know what I mean? If whatever your situation is, it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be healing of the body. It can be anything. When you manage it, when you try to manage it, then there's no room for growth. So God, puts us in these situations, or at least tries to, so we could literally get our hands off of everything that we're trying to manage so that he can really move in our life. So I would suggest that you take a look over your life, see what it is you're managing, because I know a whole lot of us have a tremendous need for help, for God to deliver us from something, but we are managing what God is trying to manage. We are managing what God is trying to heal, and what God is trying to abundantly offer to us. But if you're the manager, then the real manager, he won't step in. So I feel like I got something else to say about that, but nonetheless, I think you caught it. Take your hands off of it. Don't be afraid of the test or the trial, because again, God equips you for whatever he has to stretch you with. And I mean, God is there all the time anyway. But allow God to stretch you, because in the stretching, that's when you realize or I should say, you will realize your victory because you allow God by faith and through faith to move you into a situation that you can't manage. And when you can't manage, then God gets the victory and God gets the glory. Now, again, I said this one time in a video before a while ago, but I think it's good even to know, especially if you're like me, when God, excuse me, God getting the glory is simply when you allow another person to see the hand of God through your life, then you stretch God for the other person, and then they're able to see, wow, God can really do this. So then they move into areas where they need him, and they allow God to show up, and then he stretched then. So again, allow that faith, allow yourself to be stretched so you can experience what God is trying to get you to experience. And it takes the length of time that it takes at times because we don't realize what we're doing. I mean, if somebody can be healed instantaneously, then our breakthroughs should come a lot quicker than what they have been. But it's only because we're not understanding something, or we're not aware of something, that things take as long as they do. So hope that made sense, yo. Pastor Jamal. I said hope that made sense, yo. That's it, y'all. I love y'all, man. I talk to you. Peace.